Well, since we are practicing and taking out footage, I might take the scenic way to Clarendon Bakery before we head on up to KUIPTO. So I think, you know, a slightly longer route. See how the camera does that for you. I don't know, it might be quite nice today. I might open up the window, let some air in. I've only got half air conditioning in this car, something like warmth from the engine for the during the wet or the winter time. But I've got no actual active air conditioning for the summer sort of thing. So this car will roast in summer, so I've got to have the windows. Well, at least one window at the moment, but you know, later on, like third week of February, it's a 2-window operation. I think. And you're still gasping for breath. But anyway, maybe one day I'll get a car with air conditioning. But you know, as I said before, the only car that I ever really wanted, ever pandered for, was the 1960s Batmobile. It's the only car that's ever appealed to me. You know. Seems strange, but you know, I was a nerd in the 70s before, you know, they had such a word for someone like me. I was just like the mad kid on the block, and basically after those two scientists never came back, I got parceled into the crazy kid on the block sort of thing. But no, I wasn't crazy. It certainly is the fastest sun dew in the world now. You know, 10 times faster than anything on any other continent, you know, South America or Africa at the moment. Oh, here we go, the old Pope-mobile again. And, yeah. So I just hope they crank up the temperature before I die, so, you know, get confirmation was I was totally correct. It can move faster than the eye can see, or basically, around 1/100th of a second, or in today's language 10 milliseconds. So you know, they've clocked it now at 75 milliseconds. I'm assuming that was at 25 degrees, because that's what you always start your experiments at, 25 degrees, and that's the scientific way. Before you go left or right, you always start at 25. Well, that's what you're supposed to do anyway, if you're following the scientific method. That's the standard scientific temperature you start most experiments at, unless you have some prior knowledge that you have to start them at somewhere else. Especially in biology, I mean, because I was trained in biology. And then you go from there. So hopefully, if they crank it up to 35 degrees, you should double the reaction rate, because it's a biological system. So you should go from 75 milliseconds down to half that, if not maybe more. If you know, it's a biological system working with enzymes and things like that. So and I'm assuming their heat is stable, you know, enzymes, because they've evolved here over many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, under Australian conditions. And then if they crank it up to 45 degrees, or maybe up to the Sahara desert temperature of 53, most plants can just about handle about 53. Anything above that, that just kills them basically. So yeah. So what's that like for you? Is that good enough for you? It looks sort of pretty level in the viewfinder here, so I won't adjust it if I'm guess bang on like this. But anyway, if they crank up to 45 degrees, it should be like half, whatever it is, half 75 would be what, 32 and a half, and then maybe faster than that, and then down to, you know, 15 or something. You know, we're getting pretty close to 10, aren't we? If they can do, if that holds true. So you know, hopefully before I die and shift, you know, of this mortal coil, they'll actually get it, because Carrington Swamp used to get to those sort of temperatures right at the end of the season. You know, I got photographs of the plant still just hanging on there in like the first 2 weeks of December sort of thing, you know, but from the crossover from the first to the second week. And that was in the late 90s when my parents went back, and my dad actually went back there for me to see how it was going. Whether it still exists or not, I don't know, because he said there was some bulldozers on the other side of the paddock or something, where the cows used to be, and because it used to be like this 200, you know, 100 acre blocks, you know, with pylons going down the middle of between the two 100 acre blocks, and on the outside, on the other side, there used to be this farming property with cows on it, you know, with paddock on there. So you had the cows, then you had this one whacking great big 100 acres, known as a 100, and then down the middle of that you used to have these power lines, and on the other side of that you had another 100 or 100 acres of parcel of land. So, you know, Canton Swamp, in quotes, what I used to go to, the mud map I was given was, yeah, a whacking great big parcel of land, basically. You know, so here, Tangawi, which I take you to with the profolias, that's a 100 acre plot that's been lost 20 acres of it. So it's really, it's now known as 80 acres. So it used to be a parcel 100, but over the years it's lost 20 acres. So that Tangawi piece of land where all the profolias are, I'll just pull over and double check this thing and probably end the clip here. But yeah, that the Canton Swamp basically was like 2 Tangawis stuck and a bit more, about 40 extra acres, stuck together with you know, these power lines going right down the middle. I'm just checking the viewfinder. Oh, I think it's reasonable enough. I mean, I could move it a little bit over there, but if I fiddle around with it, it's going to stuff up, isn't it? So, you know, anyway, I'll end this clip and start another one, and we'll take the long scenic drive down to oh, hang on, if we're going, I've got to turn around if we're going to do that.